Hello, it's Michael Halper with Sales Scripter, and in this video we're going to talk about how to create an office supplies sales script. And just a quick disclaimer, I actually do not have experience selling office supplies, so I don't know if this is a great script. I actually created this script for another video. I did a video on a strategy around sending a keep me in mind cold email to prospects. And for that email, I wanted to use a product that just about every business purchases and every business is always purchasing. So I created this sales message and sales script for office supplies for that video. But I was thinking there's probably a lot of people that sell office supplies that might find some of this sales script helpful. So I thought I'd create a video just to go through this sales script for the salespeople out there that sell office supplies. So let me show you what I went through to create this sales message. And so our process for creating a sales message and a sales script always starts with the product that the salesperson sells. And of course, the product here, we're talking about office supplies. And then I like to sort of brainstorm what is included with that product, or I like to look at what is being sold as being a box, even if it's a service, and what's in the box that the prospect gets. So if you're an office supplies salesperson, maybe you might provide a full catalog of different office supplies. You might also sell printers and photocopiers. Maybe your services include same-day delivery service options. And probably there's some other features that you can include with what you sell, but hopefully that would get you going in the right direction of what to outline there regarding features. And the next step I like to go through is to try to think about, well, how are we different from our competition? And so here are a couple of thoughts. Of course, these would be unique for every salesperson, so probably these can't get reused, but again, maybe these can help a salesperson to get some ideas or get going in the right direction. But with us, we're different because you get a dedicated account rep. We don't charge for shipping. And when you contact us and you need something or you need help, you actually talk to a human. The next step in the process is to think about who are we going to be communicating with this sales message, or who are we going to be contacting with this sales script. And for this example, I pretty much used the office manager. The office manager is the person that likely orders office supplies, so that's the person we're going to try to sell to. And then the next step is to think about, well, when we sell our product or service to that target audience, what are some improvements that we can create for that particular person? And what we're looking for here are just a few improvements that we can deliver for that target audience. And one thing that can help is we can maybe bring back those features and differentiation that we just brainstormed. And then here's another tool that we can use to help brainstorm is I believe that there are really just a few common ways that most products and services can help people or businesses to improve, and we can usually help to make something work better, make something easier, decrease the time it takes to do something, increase revenue or income, decrease costs or expenses, improve the customer's product, the product that the customer we're selling to, that the product that they sell, decrease the risk of something bad happening, improve visibility or access to information. So those are some generic common areas that maybe we can create improvements. And what we can do with that list is then look back at our features or differentiation and think about, for this particular feature, does that help in any of these areas? And if it does, then try to compose some thoughts on how it helps. And so here's some improvements that I created for this office supplies sales script that we can help decrease the amount of time that office managers spend ordering office supplies. We can decrease their office supply costs, and we can decrease the time it takes to receive deliveries for office supplies. And the next step in the process is to think about pain points that we can make go away for the target audience. And what we're basically looking for here are just a few challenges or concerns that we can make go away for the target audience of office manager. And if I were to ask you what pain points can you make go away, you can likely throw a couple out at me. But here's a process that we can use to brainstorm, and this can either help make it easier to think of pain points or help us to make sure we're not missing anything. And that is that we can bring back those improvements that we just came up with on the last step, because for each improvement, there's usually an opposite pain point that goes away. So we can look at each improvement and ask ourselves, what's the opposite of that improvement? Or what problem goes away when we create that improvement? Or what problem starts to happen if we're providing that improvement and we take it away, or that improvement's not provided? So we can go through these one at a time to think of some pain points or challenges. And For office supplies, and then also thinking about the target audience in particular of office manager, it can be a hassle to order office supplies. Office managers often need to find new ways to decrease costs. It can take a long time to receive deliveries for office supplies after orders are placed. And the next step in the process is to think about good questions to ask. I personally think that the best salesperson is the one that asks the best questions, and you could possibly agree with that but still not know what questions to ask. Well, this process that I'm going to show you right now will make it crystal clear what questions to ask, because one type of questions that we should ask are what I call pain questions. These are questions that try to figure out, does a prospect have the pain points that I can make go away? And the trick here is that we can bring back the pain points that we just brainstormed, because for each pain point, there's usually a question that we can ask. So we can look at each question and ask ourselves, what question could we ask to see if the prospect has that particular pain point? Because for each pain point that the product fixes, there's a question that could be asked. So we could go through these one at a time to come up with some questions, which are, how important is it to simplify ordering office supplies? How much of a priority is it to find new ways to cut costs? How important is it to quickly receive the deliveries for the office supplies you order? So that's one set of questions that we refer to as pain questions. Another set of questions that you probably should ask are what we refer to as current state questions. These are questions that try to figure out, what is the prospect doing in the area where you have something to offer? So if you sold cars, current state questions would be, do you have a car today? What year is it? How's it running? How many miles does it have on it? Do you own it? Do you lease it? How many family members do you have that you drive around in your vehicle? So I can't tell you exactly what current state questions you should ask for the product that you sell, but here's some areas to think about maybe composing a current state question. You probably want to ask something to see if the prospect has currently purchased or is purchasing what you sell, who they're working with, maybe any questions around current systems or processes, maybe people in the organization, current contracts or expiration dates. Might ask some size details, number of sites, people, systems. You might want to ask about maybe performance of current systems or some current stats regarding the area where you have something to offer. Maybe the last time they looked at making a change in terms of purchasing what you sell. So for office supplies, here's some current state questions. Who are you purchasing office supplies from? How long have you been working with them? How's everything going? What are some things you like about what they provide? What are some things that you think could be better? When was the last time you considered making a change in terms of where you purchase office supplies? How many offices do you have? How many employees do you have? And the last step in the process is to think about a customer example that we could share in our sales script. And so here's a little tool that you could use to create your customer example, and it's basically answering 4 different questions. You first want to think of a particular customer that you helped, and it would be ideal to think of a customer that's similar to the target buyer type for this sales message. So we're creating a sales message for office managers, so maybe we want to think of an office manager for our customer example. And if you don't want to actually mention an individual or a business by name, you could just use a descriptive label for that particular customer. And then you could think about a problem that they had that you helped to solve. What did you do to them to solve that problem? And then maybe try to think of 2 different improvements that you helped to create when you sold them your product or service. So here's a quick customer example. We worked with an office manager. They were needing to find additional cost savings. We helped to do that by becoming their sole vendor for office supplies. This helped them to decrease office supplies costs and help them to decrease the time they spent ordering office supplies. And so that process gives us what we would refer to as a sales message, not a sales script, but a sales message. And each of those steps gives us what we would refer to as building blocks. And then you can then use those building blocks to create a variety of different sales scripts. So here's an example of using those building blocks to create a cold call script. You could use those same building blocks to create an appointment script. You could use those building blocks to create an email campaign. You could use those building blocks to create voicemail messages. As you can see, there are a lot of different documents and scripts that you can create from those different building blocks and bullet points. And I'm actually not going to spend time in this video showing you all of those different documents for a couple reasons. First of all, I want to keep this a really short, tight video, but also because we've already done that in another video. If you want to see how to mix and match those building blocks and all of the different templates and documents that you can create from those different building blocks, go to this playlist, the Smart Sales System, Sell Smarter, Not Harder, and then go to this video, Writing Sales Scripts. In this video, all we do is just show you the different combinations of documents you can create with those building blocks. So be sure to check that out. I'll include a link to this other video in the description below. And that concept there of mixing and matching those building blocks to create different documents, that's actually the idea of where our software Sales Scripter came from, was realizing all of the different documents we can create from the same set of building blocks. And that sales message that I just showed you of office supplies, it's actually loaded up in Sales Scripter because we actually have a library of pre-written sales messages and scripts in Sales Scripter for commonly sold products like insurance and IT consulting and financial services. And I've loaded up that sales message for office supplies. So if you sell office supplies and you want to grab that sales message instead of just pulling it from this video, it's all loaded up in Sales Scripter. And Sales Scripter has an area called the Sales Message Builder that takes you through that process that I just showed you in this video. And all of those answers and bullet points that I just showed you are in the Sales Scripter Sales Message Builder. And if you grab the office supplies sales message, what the software does is it loads up our playbook of scripts. The playbook is a library of sales scripts and email templates and voicemail scripts. All of the documents you're going to find in that other video of writing sales scripts, those are all here in Sales Scripter. Actually, there's a lot more in Sales Scripter than what is shown in that other YouTube video. But if you were to grab any of our preloaded sales messages or the office supplies sales message, your library of documents would then be loaded up with all of those different benefits and pain points and questions to ask. And that's how you end up with a custom tailored library of sales scripts and email messages and voicemail scripts loaded up, tailored to your product, your service, your industry. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully that's helpful to you, regardless of what you sell, especially if you sell office supplies. But if you want more information, if you want more sales tips, the best place to go is salescripter.com. There are plenty of videos with more sales tips. There are ebooks you could download for free. If you have questions on the product of Sales Scripter, this is the best place to go. There are demo videos that show you all of the different features of Sales Scripter and how it works. If you want to contact us, this is the best place to go. You can get our phone number, email address. There's a chat window as well. Thanks for being here. Hope this was helpful, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.